Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Tee&D and I am talking quietly because I don't really want to be heard. I would like to be heard by you, but not by anybody else in my house, because today I am starting a brand new show. Also, I'm eating breakfast. This is my morning breakfast oats, which consists of steel-cut oats and frozen blueberries to make the steel-cut oats immediately edible because they're cold and it's hot and it makes them a reasonable temperature quickly. I've added a third ingredient now, which is like a scoop's worth of Halo Top ice cream, and it's really good. It may be too good, but it is high-protein, low-calorie ice cream, so I might as well. I want to record through at least the first few minutes of my prep session for my next game of D&D, which will be this afternoon at about 4 p.m. Usually people show up late, so I'll be ready at 4, but I'll probably have it until 4:30, although that's usually annoying when you prep something and then you have to wait for it. It doesn't really matter. It is currently noon 15 p.m., and I don't have anything particularly prepped. This is about the norm for me as a dungeon master. I do, in this particular circumstance, have a pretty good idea of what's happening and what's up, just because of the nature of the campaign and the way that we're sort of winding down toward a finish. There aren't that many things that can go on. At least I think that's what my characters think. And so I want to talk about it. I want to think about ways that I can actually shift it and change it up without seeming like I'm Deus Ex Machina-ing something or bringing something out of nowhere that and try to make it something consistent. So let me set the situation and set the scene for you. My party is finishing off Waterdeep Dragon Heist. By the way, if you're a member of the Rowdy Revenant, Yamu, Morrigs, Rex, Adonovis, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out my video. You can watch this in like a few months. But right now, you can't watch this shit. This is going to go up at a point where there will be spoilers. So I'm going to spoil a whole bunch of shit about my campaign. And if I find out that one of you has watched it, it's going to be bad for you, in or out of game. I will consider it a severe betrayal of trust. So my characters are heading toward the final chapters of Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Now, to say that they're heading toward the final chapters of Waterdeep Dragon Heist might be a bit of a lie, or at least an obfuscation, because we're not playing Dragon Heist as written, not even close. First off, I'm running the Alexandrian remix of Dragon Heist, which is a huge expansion on the material present in the actual book. Second, I've made my own changes all throughout, lots of them, lots of changes. Third, there's a bunch of other shit going on, and we've been jumping around going elsewhere and adding things from other books and other modules and other stuff, so a lot more has happened than Dragon Heist. My characters are over-leveled for the specific ending of Dragon Heist, and that's totally okay, because they've been doing more stuff, and so they have earned those levels, as far as I'm concerned. They've taken out fucking full vampires at level 5 as a party, which they... it's crazy. It's crazy. It also just happens that all of the player characters are really strong mechanically. They're not optimized by any stretch of the imagination, but they are really strong mechanically. We've got a solid Moon Druid who is strong. We've got a great Control Wizard who is very strong. Scribes, Mage Hand, Telekinetic Feat. So much control, so much influence over the battlefield. He's insane. Got a solid Glory Paladin who's got his auras up now and is strong. Just deals Buko Bursto damage. It's great. And a strong intelligence-based Artificer and Skill Monkey who is Armor Infiltrator and does a lot of damage. Really consistently. Strong. So, I don't feel too bad about throwing some crazy shit at them. In the final encounter of Dragon Heist, they're supposed to encounter a gold dragon, and they're supposed to be able to talk their way through it. I didn't want none of that, so I made it a red dragon. I had them fight it, and that was great. It was a young red dragon. They wiped the floor with it, absolutely. Then they acquired the vault full of gold. The vault is hidden down below a crypt, which is in the City of the Dead, Waterdeep's graveyard district. And they were able to fit about 85,000 gold pieces, which is a lot, into their portable hole. I didn't give them a bag of holding. They have a portable hole, and they have a bag of colding, which is a much smaller bag that preserves objects. And that's for the Artificer, because he likes parts of creatures. So they have that, and it's fine, as long as the two do not meet, of course. They found the vault, they acquired all the gold, and they decided to start heading back to their patron in order to inform their patron of the gold. Their patron is the Castellanters, a family of wealthy bankers in Waterdeep who, as far as the party knows, were cursed. At least their two children were cursed at birth by a cult of Asmodeus. And on the children's birthday, which is only about 6 days away from where we are in the calendar of the game, on the children's birthday, if they don't produce an inordinate sum of gold pieces and perform some ritual, then the cult will, or like the curse will take effect and the children will die. Their souls are forfeit. And that's bad. And our characters don't want that to happen. My player characters have bought into that, and they don't want it to happen. What the Castellanders haven't told them is that they weren't cursed by a cult. They took that upon themselves. This is the price to be paid as part of a contract in order for them to gain power. And they are both worshippers of Asmodeus and part of a cult. In fact, the center of a cult, which makes a lot of sense for bankers. My players haven't picked up on it yet, which is amazing. So they began trying to get the gold back to their patrons, which makes sense and is a good move. They did so by sending a paper bird, which is literally you fold a bird out of paper, you can write a message on it, and you send it, and you say the name of a creature, and you imagine the creature, and you throw the bird, and the bird flaps its way to them and delivers the message. They're great. They're a Waterdeep Dragon Heist item. They exist, and they're really cool. And the paper bird got snatched. And a few minutes later, through a lion that they had set up to watch the door for them because they have a bag of tricks, and a manifest mind that they had set up to watch the door for them, they watched as an assassin took the lion out in an instant. And their whole crypt began to get stormed, and they watched as a dark hooded figure wandered their way in. They tried to find the figure and couldn't, and eventually realized, and as he found him with the manifest mind, that he was watching the figure who had gone invisible pull long, like 6-foot long pie slices of stone out of a portable hole or a bag of holding, and was putting them on the floor and sliding them into each other, locking them into place to form a circle. And as they ran down their tunnels to try to get closer, the last one locked into place, and they could hear through the manifest mind somebody invisibly say, "Set." And then the circle flashes, and they discover what its purpose is. It is 10 feet across, a little bit more, and it is a teleportation circle inscribed permanently onto ground. However, that ground has been dug up, turned into these thin sheets of stone, and made into a portable teleportation circle. After dropping this in, the circle flashes, and 9 people total show up. A mage in the center and a bunch of city guard. And the mage dispels the manifest mind so they don't see what else is going on. And then we come to an impasse. They're on either sides of a door. They're trying to figure out what's going on, and they hear from the other side a clear female voice. "This is Laeral Silverhand, Open Lord of Waterdeep, Witch Queen of the North. The properties of this vault belong to the city and citizens of Waterdeep. Please surrender them without violence, and no harm will befall you," which they end up doing. The party decides that Laeral Silverhand, being an archmage and a problem for them, that it is probably not worth trying to fight or sneak their way out. And so our wizard shoves the entire handkerchief-sized folded portable hole, up his fucking ass. So I give him a Constitution saving throw. And our Artificer gives him guidance. And our Paladin gives him help. And somebody else gives him something else. Oh, and then they pour like some oil out of the alchemist's jug. And he rolls a nat 20 with advantage for a total of a 30. So the wizard shoves the entire portable hole up his ass, and we had a great time with this in-game because the idea that the wizard is running around with literally 85,000 gold pieces in his butt is amazing. He is the wealthiest butthole in the entire world. It's hilarious. But they do so, and they leave the rest of the gold that they had taken on the floor, and they wait for the door to open, and the door opens, and they see resplendent Laurel Silverhand, and a bunch of city guard, and a bunch of wizards, mages from the order of Watchful Order of Magists and Protectors, which is the city like guard of mages. Great. They start to walk through. They have a couple of back and forths, a couple of conversational moments with these characters. And a couple of them asked to make checks, like a perception check, an insight check on Laurel Silverhand, a couple of other checks, like something feels wrong. And I know that it does because I've played it as there's something weird going on here. This doesn't feel right. Why were they invisible before? Why the weird teleportation thing? I guess that could be the City Watch. So one of them makes like a 16 insight, and I'm like, well, you've run into the city guard before, and they've never seemed this competent. This seems way too competent for them. And one of them makes history checks on Laurel and like whether she's herself, and she seems to be perfectly herself. So there's nothing weird there, right? But one of them wants to look at all of the guards because they know a few guards in the city. They know a few of them. They know a couple of watch captains too. So they want to look around and see if they notice or recognize any of them. And what's crazy is I had planned for this outcome, and they do. There's this one guard that they've met who has like a very distinct broomstick mustache. Yeah, like a push broom mustache is what I mean. Big, puffy, white and gray, salt and pepper push broom mustache. I forget his name. Oh, it's Watch Captain Stageit. And they met him in session 1, and they've met him a few times around the city because generally when they meet a guard captain for some reason, I'm just going to say that it's Stageit mostly because then they can get a rapport with this character and stuff. But they see Stageit, and Stageit is the wizard in the party, in the group of guards. He's wearing Watchful Order of Magists and Protectors robes. But Stageit isn't a wizard. Stageit is a watch captain. And a gruff, no-nonsense, like, Midwestern sort of watch captain, too. So they go, what the fuck? And our paladin turns to Laurel Silverhand and goes, are you really you? At which point Laurel stops whatever she was saying, looks at him. Well, of course I am. Although, and tips an invisible hat, and transforms into a man in incredible haberdashery and very crazy, colorful, like ribbony, stupid as fuck, frumpy clothes. But of course, I am also JB Nevercaught, and tips the hat again and becomes a dashing, bare-chested swashbuckler with a big captain's hat and a loincloth, a red loincloth. And he goes, and Jord, in a Sean Connery sort of voice, and tips the hat again and becomes a couple of their characters before tipping it once more and becoming a slender drow man in a small hat with a feather in his cap. A man who they recognize because they traveled down into Xanathar's lair and gladiated against his party of drow. Then our wizard, after infiltrating Xanathar's lair, ran into him in the middle of the same operation and found himself just one step ahead in stealing an Eye of Galore, a crucial artifact for the campaign, revealing that the drow were looking for the same thing as they were, and this has all been a thing. And this drow fellow, who had introduced himself as Aristian Damarn, which is a weird pun for arrest the man, at that point had tipped his hat to our wizard as our wizard misty stepped away from him, or gaseous formed away. I forget which one it was. It was one or the other. Tipped his hat to him as a game well played and took the loss of the artifact that he was seeking. But of course, since then, the drow have not given up, and they have been following and waiting and waiting and watching and following. And now it's paid off because they intercepted a letter coming out of this crypt to the Castellanters, and the letter tells them that they've found the goal. And so they organized this whole operation and went in with plenty of manpower if they need it, but hopefully just to use the disguise of Laurel Silverhand and a couple of seeming spells cast on all of their guards and stuff, all of their random drow, in order to turn them into random guards. They would be able to take the vault, and they did. So, after revealing that they are not Laurel Silverhand, our players still do the math inside their head and decide that they probably don't want to fight this. And also, the drow are not trying to kill them, they're just letting them leave. And this is the second or third time that they've had a situation where the drow haven't been directly antagonistic to them. In one situation, there was a drow watching their tavern, and the drow steps out of hiding, breaking his own rules, and tells them that a couple of orcs have come and attacked their tavern, and it seems like the children who are in the tavern are in danger. They ran into each other during the fighting in the Xanathar's lair, and while things got very hectic and crazy, and they definitely caused problems for each other, there was no direct conflict, and when there was a chance for it, the drow didn't go to blows. And now, as they are leaving the gold, the drow are letting them walk away without killing them, which is interesting and different from some of the other groups of ne'er-do-wells that our adventurers have run into. So, our party decides to just walk. Fair enough. We'll just walk. So, the party leaves the crypt. They get a good idea of how many individuals are in the crypt, but no idea what kind of individuals they are. They know they're probably all drow, but they're all disguised as human guards. Some of them are clearly wizards because they were able to cast teleportation circle and bring these groups of people in. There are at least 2 real wizards, but also some of the wizards aren't really wizards, probably. So, there are a bunch of drow in this place. Our party went and they immediately beelined it to their patrons, to the Castellanters. They found Amalia playing with her children, the woman of the Castellanters, and informed her of what was going on. She gave them the time to very nonchalantly take a short rest while offering tea and cookies and little biscuits and snacks and things. Got herself changed out of her dresses and finery into something a little bit more fitting, like some black trousers and a black top, and got ready to go, because she is a mage herself and has revealed that to them multiple times over the course of things. They understand that both the Castellanters are powerful individuals. She's a mage. Her husband is a half-elf cleric. Of Lathander, of course. Not of Asmodeus. Not of Asmodeus at all. Of Lathander, of course. She got ready. And away they went. Immediately, her idea was, oh, they're there. They're in the way of what I need. I'm going to sending to my husband, and we're going to meet on the way, and we're going to go kill them all. And they've discussed they don't want to kill them all. They want to not kill them all. She gave them the option. So my party has just met up with 2 rather powerful spellcasters who have their own motivations, and they are all headed toward the City of the Dead, which at the end of the campaign, or at the end of the game last week, the Castellanters walked straight up to the guards at the front of the City of the Dead and just went, "We wish to see the crypts. This is our entourage." And of course, the guards, recognizing the Castellanters as these highfalutin nobles in town, were like, "Okay, yep, sure." And so they're in. And they're heading toward this crypt. They know that there are a bunch of drow here. They don't know what they're capable of. But this is our situation. This is our setup going into next game. And how cool is that? Okay, so here are my thoughts. First off, I think today will be the penultimate encounter of the Dragonheart heist arc of my character's journey. There is a ton of other stuff going on in our world, and there is no way that I'm just stopping here in this major campaign. We have the chance to, we've been running a campaign, we've run it to 6 or 7 consistently now, over months and months and months and months. There's a chance that we could run this campaign all the way to 20, and that would be so sick, and I want to do it. So, there's a bunch going on, and we're going to follow up on it. We're going to keep going with this campaign for sure when we can. We'll be switching to the pirate campaign at some times and one-shots at other times because people can't schedule stuff. But I think that flexibility is why our campaign is still going, and that's important. This is the penultimate episode, probably. The ultimate couple of episodes will be taken up by probably a session of our characters just enjoying the rewards of what they've done, going and spending their money, getting some cool items and magic items, figuring out all their shit, building a bunch of cool stuff for their keep. Probably I'll do it as a little bit of a chunk of downtime, at least over the few days that we have before the twins' birthday, the children's birthday of the Castellanters, assuming that everything goes well in this session. And then The day before their birthday, all of our party will be invited to a feast at the Castellanter estate. They will be seated at a table of honor, and there will be a lot, like 100 or more people seated at not a table of honor, but still invited to the feast. And all of them will die. Every single one of them will be poisoned. Not the party members at the high table, but all of the 99 exactly individuals brought in as an act of charity by the Castellanters, of course. Something that we know that the Castellanters have done before because we've been to these events before. So it's not suspicious at first. But they will fulfill their contract with Asmodeus. To do so, to save the lives of their two beautiful twin children, they will slay 99 people and offer their souls to the devil. And then they will take 999,999 gold pieces, and they will perform a ritual with it and with the blood of the people they have killed, and they will burn it away, and it will disappear, and it will all go to the devil. But their children will be saved, and our characters will have facilitated it happening. And I don't know what they'll do when they find that out. I have no idea what they'll do. I think they'll probably try to kill Victoro and Amalia, but I don't know. I just don't know. It's very interesting, I think. Regardless, they have to make it through today, and they have to acquire all the gold first. So, our squad is walking. They're power walking toward this crypt that is full of drow. I've got a couple questions. First off, are the drow going to be the only threat? And I think the answer that I want to go with is no. Second off, what kind of drow? Well, they're not drow. Drow are just cheap. They're not that powerful. They're not that strong. These are going to be a mix of, for the most part, and we know that there are 12 individuals total, 3 groups of 4, and then 1 mage in each of those groups. Bing, bing, bing. And then there is Aristian Demarn or Jarlaxle Baneray. Jarlaxle Baneray is a bit of a problem. He's too strong to fight. I actually think he's too strong to fight. Like, Amalia Castellanter is not too strong to fight. Amalia is a 9th level wizard. She's got a 15 armor class and 45 hit points. Our paladin can one-shot her. It's no problem. Like, no problem. If she gets initiative, she can do some stuff. If she's with Victoro is a higher level caster and a cleric. And has glamored studded leather, so he's also running with a 15 armor class, but he has double the hit points, and he's got some crazy spell options, like Divine Word, which is crazy, and Full Earthquake and stuff like that, and Flame Strike and all sorts of things. He's got a lot more going on, and he can upcast Charm Person and just make stuff happen. He's got a Rod of Rulership, which can make stuff happen. He's got a lot going on. Okay. Jarlaxle, however... Jarlaxle is busted. He's not fightable. He's a cool drow dude. Look at him go. He is a master tuner. He has 5 magic items attuned. You can attune to anything. He has 123 hit points and an armor class of 24 with parry. Doesn't he have parry? No, he doesn't have parry. Oh, I thought he did. Okay. He does have, however, evasion to take less damage. He has all these magic items, has a portable hole, a rapier +3, a bracer of flying daggers, +3 leather armor, a hat of disguise, a cloak of invisibility, a knave's eye patch, a ring of truth telling, a wand of web, and a feather of diatrema summoning. Holy shit. He has his innate drow magic, and he hits with +14 to hit for 1d8 +9 piercing damage 3 times. He also has legendary actions. He has 3 of them. He deals 7d6 of sneak attack, and he's immune to the sunlight sensitivity when he's wearing his knave's eye patch, which he will be. So Jarlaxle's a problem. So I already figured out how to get Jarlaxle out of here, and I'm not worried about it. When they were all leaving, my artificer was invisible, had cast invisibility on himself because he didn't want to be recognized. His prerogative. And so he hung back a little bit and listened to see if he could hear anything interesting. So I had him roll perception. He rolled like a 17. That's good enough for this. He heard the main drow, he's not sure of his name, but JB or Zardoz or whatever, lean into another one and go, All right. I am going to return to the Hellraiser and gather blah blah blah. Essentially, an excuse. It's a little bit of an excuse. I don't know. He doesn't really have a reason to leave, but he's going to gather a couple of people and a couple of other stuff, and then return here in order to help them get into the vault, which is once again sealed, and they have to figure out the puzzle for it. So probably because they've only taken an hour and a half, the Drow. I'm going to roll for them, but probably they haven't opened the vault. They just haven't gotten in there yet, and probably Jarlaxle isn't there right now, but he's on his way. So, the first chunk of our encounter functions as this. Our characters know that a couple hundred feet down into the crypt, there is a set of pie slices that is a teleportation circle, and they need to split them up or break them before Jarlaxle teleports in, because he's probably going to teleport in. So, there are a bunch of enemies down a very narrow gauntlet, and there is a goal at the end. Going to be very interesting to see what our characters can do about that and how they try to get there and do the thing. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. They do have two powerful spellcasters with them. And the powerful spellcasters are not giving them any advice. They're going to go to their default, which is Amalia can cast Fireball a whole bunch of times, and she's just going to start doing that. She's just going to start killing people, or knocking them out and then not murdering them, but she might kill them. She doesn't care that much. She'll honor, if she can, the agreement that they have that they should not murder all of these drow, but if it's more convenient for her to kill a bunch of drow with fireballs and stuff, she will straight kill them. No problem. So there's just gonna be a wall of Amalia and Victoria walking forward, doing boom boom, big boom boom. So there is at least one squad of drow outside, and they will have encamped and gotten hidden and be standing watch. So sneaking up may occur for our party. They do have a druid who can cast pass without a trace, and it may not. They may just go in guns blazing. Either way, interesting things. So let's build out that first group of drow, I think, is what I want to build out so that I have these squads prepped. Mostly, I want to use drow elite warriors and drow gunslingers, as well as, I think, drow mages, because there's one mage per group, so I think that makes sense to me. I think the gunslingers are more powerful and scarier than the drow elite warriors, so I might do, like, three drow elite warriors, one gunslinger, one mage per squad. It'll be a little complicated in terms of running initiative, but I think it's worth it for the versatility that these different types of drow bring to the fight, and it should make the fight more interesting. So, grab me a pen. I think I'm going to do this on paper because I prefer it that way, but let me go ahead and grab the drow stat blocks. Also, I have drow stat blocks as my little cards for the most part. The ones that I don't have coming in the group, I've already written out for like the gunslingers and stuff that are just Waterdeep Dragon Heist dependent. I will pull up normal drow in case I want to fill up the ranks, but I don't think so. And I think I'm going to look through all the other ones and see if there's anything else that's like super cool. I don't think I want an Arachnomancer. I do want gunslingers. I do want assassin. I do want elite warrior. I don't want matron mother or probably favored consort, but I'll check. Inquisitor, Priestess of Lolth. I don't want any priestesses. And a house captain. Ooh. Okay. Let me look at these in reverse order. So I'm going to look at the house captain. Ooh, he's too beefy. 162 hit points, 16 armor class. This guy's a boss fight on his own. Oh, and he has parry. Yeah, no. Well, I actually love this stat block, though. He's got a scimitar that can be poisoned, a whip, and if he whips allies, they gain an advantage on attack rolls for a turn. A hand crossbow with classic drow poison on it, the parry feature +3 to AC as a reaction, and battle command. As a bonus action, the drow targets one ally within 30 feet, and the target, if it can see or hear him, can use its reaction to make one melee attack or to take the dodge or hide action. That's so sick. But it's too powerful for us. The favorite consort, I'm not even going to look at it. It's got a chain lightning. It's got Odaluk's Resilience Sphere. This is a cool caster. It's not what I want. Elite warrior, now we're talking. Hand crossbow with drow poison. Short sword that at least the first time it hits will deal extra poison damage, but also still has 2 attacks. 18 AC, really high AC. Lower hit points, not bad, 71. A couple of these is not the worst ever. Now, 3 of these together starts to become more of a problem. I might be overloading the encounter. No, we've got those 2 casters with them who are pumping out AoE damage. I'm going to make this a battle. Fucking fight. All right. They are sunlight sensitive, which will help our party on the first ones because they will have the disadvantage on attack rolls and perception checks when our party is approaching because it is daytime. Also, they have the parry feature, so +3, taking their AC to a 21, making them quite hard to hit. I like this. I like the idea that, like, 2 or 3 of these come running at them, and then they're obfuscating the fact that probably the Drow Mage is trying to use, I can exchange these whenever I want, either message or sending to get information over to other people down further into the crypt. And that's our second set of, probably if our perception checks and stuff go differently, that's our second set of important goals that our party needs to acquire or accomplish, or there will be a consequence. In this case, it is that if this Drow Mage can get a sending cast off or a message cast off, then the Drow Mage can inform people further in the crypt that there are attackers coming and that the party that they thought was just going to leave is not leaving and is coming back with more force, which is bad for them. Or this Drow Mage could send to Jarlaxle and tell him, shit's going down, get over here, please, please, please. And he'll come in and he'll bring some other folks, some powerful folks probably. And then things get scary. And we're at an impasse where the Drow probably can effectively defend themselves. Okay. The Drow probably effectively can defend the crypt, and we probably can't crack that nut without some more stuff going on. Great. So let's look at the stat block here and think about the Drow Mage stat block. It's just a classic mage stat block for the most part. 17 int, 14 dex, 45 hit points, 12 AC, 15 with mage armor, which we will assume. Got the classic Drow magic with charisma components, and Mage Hand, Minor Illusion, Poison Spray, Ray of Frost, some at-will damage options, Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Shield, Witch Bolt, Alter Self, Misty Step, Web. Web is huge. Fly, Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt is huge. Fly is useful, but Lightning Bolt is huge. Avard's Black Tentacles is amazing because it restrains and deals damage. It's really good. I think we'll be using that, as well as Greater Invisibility and Cloud Kill. Probably we're going to, later on in combat, have an Avard's Black Tentacles dropped, and then a Cloud Kill dropped on top of it by a different Drow Mage, and that would be sick. Just thinking about options, as well as that, putting Greater Invisibility on one of the Drow Gunslingers would probably be really cool for that Gunslinger. And the Drow can summon a Quasit or attempt to summon a Shadow Demon. It will, of course, attempt to summon a Shadow Demon, even though it's 50%. I might fudge it and just let it happen, because that seems really cool. But maybe too complicated for our fight. Still, Drow Mage is probably what I'm going to use. Looking at the Arachnomancer, no, it just turns into a giant spider. It's got way too many hit points. Nah. The Inquisitor. Oh, it's a Cleric Drow. And it's a female. Oh, this is one of the ones with the Death Lance. Okay, that's, I think, too powerful as well. Yeah, CR 14, Harm and True Seeing and Banishment, and yeah, okay, no. Shadow Blade. Too much hit points. Too many hit points. And then there are, of course, base Drow. 15 AC, 13 hit points. These are cannon fodder, comparatively. They do have short swords. They do have hand crossbows. They can do some stuff, but they're basically cannon fodder. Or I can throw them in to just cast Fairy Fire or Darkness. Okay, so I think it's going to be one mage, one gunslinger, and either 2 or 3 elite warriors. I fully have forgotten what I said were the groups last game, because I did tell them what they were, and they have a count. So give me a sec. Okay, so I've got 3 total gunslingers to work with. Because one of them is dead because they killed him. He deserved to die. He was murdering elves across the city, and they actually ended up getting thanked for it by a drow, though they don't know it. We have Krebig Mascalier, Felrecht Lafine, who is deeper in and is the one who is closest with the party. He's the one who told them that there were orcs attacking and their kids were in danger, the kids that they've adopted. And then there is Calamar Sombra, who is not in the book, but I made him up because I needed a third one. Okay, so there is a hard limit, which is there is a limit of 18 total characters in this crypt. And the reason for that is mechanical. The teleport spell allows the caster and 8 other creatures to show up, which means that each time the teleport spell was cast, 9 creatures showed up. They cast it twice. 2 mages have popped in, at least. One of the mages brought a second mage. So there are 18 total characters here. 3 of them are mages. 3 of them are gunslingers. So there are 12 total other drow, which means that in each of the 3 groups, there should be 4 total other drow, which is too many to be all gunslingers or all elite warriors. So there should be 6 per squad. 1 mage, 1 gunslinger, 2 drow, and 2 drow elites. 2 basic drow, 2 drow elites, 1 gunslinger, 1 mage. That's a hell of a party. And the main reason for that is because I think the base drow still have the hand crossbow with the poison on it. So they can just be doing that. The 2 drow elites can charge. The gunslinger can go and probably, if they're outside, is going to levitate on self and is going to levitate up in the air and just start firing pot shots with their poisonous pistol, which deals 3d10 plus 4 damage, which is a lot. So they're going to become a huge target immediately, which is fine. But they'll be having disadvantage on their rolls and stuff because of sunlight sensitivity unless they can get into darkness, which is great. The drow elite warrior will probably cast Avard's Black Tentacles as soon as it notices something going on. And then if that works, they'll stick with concentrating on that and start throwing out lightning bolts probably. Or maybe, probably start throwing out lightning bolts because they're restrained. They'll have disadvantage on the check, on the dexterity saving throw. And as an alternative, can cast greater invisibility probably on the gunslinger in order to get the gunslinger going. Now I want to look at the Shadow Demon interaction. Pretty scary, but not that useful to us in this circumstance. I think just having the drow basics outside makes a lot of sense. And then in the future 2 groups that they will probably run into and fight, I can alter those 2 drow basics to also be elite warriors if I want to, just to balance the encounter a little better on the fly. And I'm down to do that. So that's great. Especially because all of these drow currently and for the entire encounter are going to look like normal members of the guard of the city watch of Waterdeep, because Seeming is cast on them. Very cool. Seeming is a 5th level spell, so I think that at least 2 of the drow mages won't have Cloud Kill prepped. Maybe the last one will, just for fun, but great. And I'm going to have to remember to manage sunlight sensitivity, because that's hard. But most of those battles will happen inside, so it won't be an issue. Great. I think that actually ends out our combat pretty well. I know what the dungeon looks like. It's a sort of L-shaped crypt. I have a picture of it, so I'll just put that in the video. Boom, bam, boom. And there are a bunch of little hidey holes and cubbies that are little alcoves where there are crypts and stuff. And that crypt leads up to a big door, and then there is a multi-100-foot tunnel, and then a little antechamber, and then the door. So I think probably deeper down and deeper in, there's been one more cast of teleport to bring more people in. Jarlaxle would have returned to his boat, told all of his smartest people, the people who will figure out what's going on with this vault door and figure out the way in, to teleport in. And so probably they teleported a smaller group of a couple of wizards, a couple of mages, and maybe 1 cool drow, cool drow effect. Maybe that house captain idea or something cool. Maybe the Inquisitor. Actually, an Inquisitor would make sense. Send 1 cleric. The summoner can summon a Yoklol. Oh, that's a CR10 monster, though. And it's got the Death Lance, which I don't want it to be doing. It's too powerful. We might not even get there because I'm not done. I want a complication to arise. A significant complication. That complication will be as follows. My party stole the Eye of Galore from the Xanathar, a beholder crime lord. In the process, I mentioned already that the drow were also looking to steal it, and their plan was to blow up the Xanathar's entire lair, and they did. They blew it all up except for 1 wing of the lair, and the Xanathar fled, and we don't know where he is. I know where he is. He is deep in the Undermountain. But The one section of the lair that was not destroyed was the east wing, where a mind flayer named Nihilor, a little bit of a nihilistic mind flayer, as one might expect, was doing his crazy experiments and has been infiltrating people on the surface of Waterdeep with intellect devourers for a long time, including some people that the party has met. They've had multiple opportunities to investigate this and figure it out, and they've never pursued them. So they just don't know what they don't know. Nihilor knows some stuff, though. Nihilor has been using Xanathar's existing gazer network to spy on the city, and Nihilor would love to have that gold. He doesn't know that the gold is there, but Nihilor has seen a bunch of drow start mobilizing and is going to send a squad, maybe with himself included, to go and attack. These will be Xanathar squaddies. At the very least, these will consist of Schemo Weirdbottle, a wizard who used to sell our party potions and doesn't anymore because he got intellect devoured and just disappeared and started working for the Xanathar, and they know that he's working for the Xanathar, but they don't know why. Schemo for sure. Schemo was in charge of a bunch of raging barbarian brawlers who had been clearly intellect devoured or something, or hollowed out and were veins pumping purple ichor or something. Something's wrong with them. They've been fucked with and experimented on. One of them is a former party member. But it'll be Schemo, 3 ragers, at least. And I would like to include the scariest enemy in the entire fucking game. Scariest enemy in the entire fucking game, by far, which is a squad of, I don't know, let's say 6. 1 Schemo, who's a mage, 3 battle ragers, and 6 goblin booyog casters. What the fuck is a goblin booyog casters? Let me tell you, let me show you. Okay. A goblin booyog caster is a goblin wearing a chain shirt. It has 7 HP. It has a scimitar and a short bow, but it's not going to use them. It has the spellcasting feature. It gets to, as its action, cast 1 random wizard spell. And I've got those on the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 for a d12 roll. And those possible spells in order are Burning Hands, Catapult, Cause Fear, Charm Person, Color Spray, Comprehend Languages, Fog Cloud, Grease, Hideous Laughter, Magic Missile, Thunder Wave, and Witch Bolt. It's going to cast one. It doesn't know which one it's going to cast. I have to roll for it. But it will cast one. Some of them won't have any effect. Some of them won't have a creature to effect within range. Like, if it Thunder Waves and there's nobody within 15 feet, it doesn't do anything. Or maybe it hits its friends. Great. These are pure chaos, and it gets better. When they cast their spell, first off, they go, booyah, 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 and then a spell effect happens. And then a wild magic surge happens. Always. No roll. Terrifying. Absolutely fucking terrifying creatures. So I think we get a wizard, 3 battle ragers, 6 goblin booyogs, and maybe something else. Those all and maybe Nihilor. I actually do think that Nihilor will show up himself for this, which will be fun. And I think they'll show up right after our party clears out the first squad. So they will hopefully see them coming, and they will have the option of allowing them to clash with the drow within the crypt and let them kill each other, and then hopefully just walk through. But it'll be up to the party to see what they do and whether they make all the checks necessary to make all of that happen. Now we're talking. Now we're bringing together multiple factions who've been antagonists toward the party before and clashing them all together in one big chaotic final battle. I love it. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave off for now. This is most of my planning. I'm going to figure out some of the encounter stuff, and I might record a little bit of that to show you later, but basically I've gone from not having much prepped to explaining what I have, figuring out the details of it, and figuring out the goals and potential options as we go ahead. Thanks for watching. I will catch you next time that I decide to do one of these, which will probably be next week, right before I do that. Peace.